된 생각새 너와 내 추억을 선발해 Thanks 어디로 가니 국내 아닌 멀리 물론 둘이만 승관하오 비행기에 매해 빨리들 바로 떠나게 Change overnight.
All right, hello everyone. It's Keith, aka Average Climbs, and I'm here today with,
I'm Aaron.
and we're doing a quick little interview series because why not?
Why not?
Here in Brooklyn, in New York, I always wanted to come here. Heard a lot of great things about this gym. All right, Aaron. So I want to ask you a very specific question, but in regards to the climbing community.
Yeah,
So what are your current thoughts on the climbing community in Brooklyn?
interesting. I think the climbing community in New York, and especially in Brooklyn right now, is undergoing a lot of change. Climbing is really blowing up right now, which means two things. It means that it's getting really popular. So there are more people who are coming into climbing who never have before, which is really great. I think more people see themselves as climbers. And then also kind of the landscape of the gyms is changing. So you're seeing less of these like home style, garage looking bouldering gyms. And it's kind of turning into more of this like, there's more corporate ownership of gyms. There are more of these chains that are popping up, which I think there's like a double-edged sword to that. I think one of the great things about climbing is the community. And I just hope that as we kind of move into this new era of climbing where it's more popular, but also, there's more money influence, that we don't lose kind of that thing that made it special in the first place.
All right, yeah. No, I actually really, really like Aaron's answer there. I think that there's a lot of places that are trying to kind of like mimic that corporate style, but when they do it, it becomes strictly business. So like I can totally understand where that viewpoint is coming from and like how it's trying to evolve, but at the same time, they want to keep that home feel, that sense of community. So that's great. I absolutely love that. The second question that I wanted to ask you is, recently, have you noticed that there's been a lot of East Asians that are popping up into the space as well? And like, what are your thoughts on like the East Asian climbing community as a whole, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, I think climbing historically, especially in the US, has been a sport that's dominated by white people. And I think in general, we're seeing a lot of diversity, especially in parts of Brooklyn and Queens that, have larger populations of East Asian folks. Climbing's getting big there too. And, I think I see, more folks speaking different languages of the crag, which is always great. And yeah, I think it's just one element of the growing diversity of climbing, which is awesome,
Perfect. I love that. Very PC answer, but I'll take that as well. No problem there.
Yeah.
So I actually have
The more the merrier.
100%. I agree with that. There's also another question that I wanted to ask in regards to this gym in particular.
Yeah.
So this gym, I've noticed that on Google reviews, I've noticed on Yelp, I've noticed on several different review sites that this is the spot to go to. Do you agree with that statement that this gym is the best gym to go to in the Brooklyn area?
I think there are a lot of really great things about Vital. I think it's really big. We've got a lot of amenities.
Am I listing some of them?
Yeah. So we've got bouldering, we've got yoga, we have cycling, kind of like Soul Cycle. We have aerial silks, we have fitness. We have all these things that, we have a sauna that kind of make Vital what it is. And it makes it really nice to look at. It makes it really great on, Instagram reels and stuff like that. Like I was kind of talking about earlier, I think, because Vital is so big and there is kind of such an emphasis on, this like lifestyle brand that we're trying to build. Sometimes I do feel like the community element can get a little bit lost in there. That's not to say that it's not a great place. I love it, and I love my coworkers, and I think we're all really, really tight. But yeah, I think like I was saying earlier, there's kind of a double-edged sword with these big spaces where, sometimes you have to be intentional about holding on to the things that are important.
Fair enough. Yes. So far, I love these answers, by the way. Like, these are very politically correct answers.
What do you mean by politically correct?
I mean, there's some things that people might have a strong opinion about, but like you've answered these questions like very much like in that aspect, like very PC, like very neutral. You have a very like non-biased sense and judgment to it, which is great. Yeah. I love it. So in regards to those three questions that I wanted to ask you, I did also want to ask about like, what are your thoughts on the sphere of climbing as a whole? Like, do you see like, us expanding the climbing community even further, like let's say 5 years, 10 years down the line, and like how do you see that vision like proceeding?
Yeah. So this is actually something I do a lot of work in. I don't know if you know this, but in July, the workers of Vital unionized. So we joined a union in an effort to have a seat at the table when it comes to determining wages, benefits, and just how we, how the industry continues to grow and expand. Like we both talked about, climbing is blowing up. There's conversations about what does it look like in 5, 10 years. And what I'm really hopeful for, as you see kind of more of these things happening, there's a lot of climbing gyms right now that have unionized, or as labor continues to go up, have the opportunity to do so. And I think what I'd really like to see in climbing in the next, however many years, is a focus on community that's centered around the people that are working to make the spaces really great, as well as the people that are coming in. So we can have, just community built spaces, which is what climbing's all about, and building those kinds of connections.
I just want to say, like, I just love Aaron's smile here. Like Aaron's smile here is like it's
Thank
the
you.
it's the icing on the cake. It's just chef's kisses. Beautiful smile, by the way. I have one last question,
Yeah.
and after that we can like kind of wrap up.
Yes.
So like this question in particular is regards to like the current climbing like facility that you have right now. Right?
Yeah.
Like I understand that you have all of these nice amenities. You have like everything going for you. Like everyone that I talked to today, they were like, I can't get enough of this gym. However, there has been a few comments here and there about something that can potentially be implemented.
Yeah.
And what they've brought up to me is that if this place had a cold plunge,
Oh,
that would make this place from a 10 to a 11.
Yeah.
So like, what are your thoughts on like potential improvements or like renovations going forward? Like, is there anything like on the brink of that?
With the cold plunge, I haven't heard any talk about a cold plunge.
Maybe they're too scared.
Well, should we think about where we should put it? Maybe right here. What do you think? Yeah.
Hey, no, that would actually be amazing.
That would be amazing. Yeah. No, I mean, look, it's a great space. There's a lot of things that happen here. I think there's always room for improvement. There's always room to add more cool stuff. It's just a matter of figuring it out. But I mean, I think for the most part, we've got one of the most comprehensive facilities in the city. It's hard to beat the value when you factor in all the classes, as well as just, the facilities that we do have. I am curious to see, I don't know if you know this, we're opening a gym in the Lower East Side in the next year. So maybe we'll have the cold plunge there, is what I'll say about that. But that's kind of, those conversations are.
All right, yeah, that's confidential.
It works. Yeah, I'm not looped in on the cold plunge discussion.
Fair enough. All right, yeah. So those were the 5 main questions that I wanted to ask you. But like, I also wanted to factor in like your own personal, like your own personal voice. Is there anything that you would like to talk about in terms of like the climbing space or climbing community? Is there anything that you want to see like actively being like sought out throughout all the gyms? So like not just Vital in Brooklyn, right? Like, is there anything that you think that can be implemented to make climbing gyms and climbing as a whole better?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, climbing's blowing up. It's becoming a very profitable industry. I think for a long time, you worked at a climbing gym because you wanted the free membership, and it was kind of seen as like not a real job. Like even, let alone working at the front desk, coaching climbing or, route setting. These are jobs that are seen as, not things that you're supposed to be doing for a long time. And I think now that climbing's becoming something that's blowing up, what I would just love to see is that careers in those positions are something that's viable, because they make a lot of value for the companies that own them, and I think the workers should have a part of that. So I think that'll make it more sustainable. I think that'll keep it centered in the community, and yeah, that's my hope for the scene.
Fair enough. Yeah, honestly, this Aaron here is amazing at these questions. I could not have picked a better person for this.
Yes, good question.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time today. Is there anything that you wanted to say to like the people in general?
Anything I want to say?
You could literally say anything, even if it's PG-18. I'll bleep it up.
PG-18. Yeah, I mean, I'm off the clock right now, so I guess I can say this. If you're interested in following the efforts of our workers, you can give us a follow on Climbers United Union on Instagram. We post updates about, our journey to a fairer contract. But yeah, keep coming to the gym, keep saying hi. I love meeting members and talking to folks who love climbing, and just talking about climbing in general.
All right, perfect. Let's do a high five.
Very good. Or one timers. Let's do a fist bump. Come on, there we go.
Yes,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
we go. All right, cheers everyone, and I'll keep you updated on the next interview.
Take care.